Jake Paul. All day, every day.
Why?
Just think he knocks him out cold.
Would you be willing to take the bet with Tyson Fury that's saying that Jake is going to beat you?
No, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say. That's what I'm saying. It ain't even about the money. I'm betting on myself. Yep. I'm focusing on myself. I'm fully betting on myself. I ain't worried about what anyone's got to say.
So when I'm bouncing around the ring, jabbing, weaving, and doing all of these things, I know I can pick them apart and score points and make this a very, very big.
Reports say that Tyson Fury shocked everyone when he suddenly cut short the press meeting for Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, instantly changing the entire mood in the room. Fury delivered a strong warning to Joshua while the cameras were rolling, saying Jake Paul is much more dangerous than people think. He claimed Paul might be strong, disciplined, and confident enough to pull off a huge upset. Fury even said he would bet £1 million that Jake Paul would beat Joshua. Fans and experts were stunned by his bold statement.
Possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. I like how Jake Paul calls that the full spectrum from.
Anthony Joshua was angered that Tyson Fury bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking him out. Joshua made it clear that he is focused only on himself and on getting the job done in the ring, not on outside noise or bait. He said the bet doesn't matter and that he trusts himself more than any hype from others. Joshua emphasized that he just wants to fight, get paid, and move on, explaining that he has no interest in wagers, games, or distractions.
Would you be willing to take the bet with Tyson Fury that's saying that Jake is going to beat you?
No, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say. That's what I'm saying. It ain't even about the money. I'm betting on myself. Yep. I'm focusing on myself. I'm fully betting on myself. I ain't worried about what anyone's got to say.
He did say he's going to put £1 million on it. Would you be willing to take that bet with Tyson Fury?
Respectfully, I'm not worried about what Tyson Fury's got to say, or I'm not here for any of that betting and nonsense. I'm here to fight, and that's all it is. Once I get the job done, I'm going to collect my check, cash it, and I'm going to focus on the next one. My bet is on me.
Jake Paul believes he can beat Joshua because he thinks Joshua struggles with smaller boxers, which Paul sees as an advantage. Analysts, especially a podcast analyst named Henry, have reviewed Joshua's fights against smaller opponents and identified patterns in his performance. While Paul focuses on what he views as a weakness, the numbers show that Joshua's technical skill, power, and reach usually balance out any size differences. The debate ties into the larger discussion about how physical differences affect outcomes. Even though Paul is bragging, Joshua remains a dangerous opponent due to his skill and preparation.
Joshua definitely doesn't struggle, and that's against guys who are of a similar stature to him. When he won his first world title against Charles Martin, he was a taller heavyweight. Not taller than AJ necessarily, but a heavyweight of taller stature, and he got that one with a very simple knockout. It was one of the easiest fights of Anthony Joshua's career. He had a war against Vladimir Klitschko, but again, he was highly competitive and eventually managed to get Klitschko out of there. In the Kubrat-Pulev fight, while it was a mixed performance, he did end up producing one of his best knockouts. Similarly against Robert Helenius, whilst AJ probably didn't put one of his best performances again, it ended in another dramatic knockout. He was punch perfect against Otto Wallin, in my opinion, and he had that absolutely devastating knockout win against Francis Ngannou, who, of course, an absolutely enormous man with a fantastic chin, or so it seemed until Anthony Joshua got his hands on him. Even earlier on in his career against the likes of White, Brazil, and Molina, these were all taller heavyweights who AJ dealt with consummate ease. Of course, most recently he had that loss against Daniel Dubois, but we can't say that Daniel Dubois is...
Jake presents himself as a brave challenger ready to face any task. But even with his confidence, he clearly knows the massive size difference he is up against. He joked that he only had to look up to meet Joshua's eyes. He continues showing the same energy and confidence he displays before every big event, hoping people will believe that confidence alone can help him beat a fighter who has held major belts and defeated top-level opponents. Jake says this challenge is a lesson for future fighters, suggesting that stepping in against someone this powerful takes courage and determination.
You, Anthony Joshua, how we doing?
Dude, never been better. This is what I dreamed of. This is what I manifested into reality. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation, We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here. First round KO.
And the Schmo interviewed you there. When you fought Gibb, it was on Fight TV. We've been with you along the way. Not very many times you're looking up at a face-off. So what did you make of looking up for one of the very first times at a face-off right here?
Just looking up at Daddy there and just seeing, how big he is, and just my eyes were kind of going into his nipples and stuff, which I kind of liked. And then basically I was just like, whoa, he's big in that. And then, I can't believe how tall he is.
Is this chain really on the line for the winner?
I don't know if it's confirmed, but I'm down. But he has to put something up too. There has to be something in it for me.
You say this is the biggest upset that's going to be in boxing history, right up there with 42-1 with Buster Douglas.
Yep.
What is the headline going to be when you knock this guy out and he's laying on the canvas?
According to Matchroom CEO Frank Smith, the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight is more about showmanship than sport, causing even more debate. He said the fight won't be a true boxing contest, but more of an entertainment spectacle rather than a serious test of skill. Smith explained that what fans are getting is meant to shock them, not uphold the competitive spirit of boxing, making people question how real and competitive the matchup truly is. He also said he still hopes for a Fury versus Joshua fight, calling it the biggest fight ever and hoping it can finally happen in 2026. Smith added that boxing is full of talk and that not all planned fights become reality, meaning that despite excitement, many legal and logistical issues still need to be resolved.
Just to silence all the doubters here, a lot of people saying this can't be real, Anthony Joshua going in there, it must be an exhibition, or Anthony Joshua's going to it's going to be choreographed and Anthony's going to carry him through a couple of rounds. I know Anthony Joshua, just to silence all those doubters, he's going to go in there to do a job, right?
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. People asking why is it 8 rounds, not 10? Because I don't think it goes past the first round. So it's, regardless, it's quite irrelevant. I think he steps across the ring and knocks him out, but we're in for a bit of fun and everyone's going to be tuning in.
It might not be fun for Jake Paul. I mean, it's serious entertainment, is it?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I agree with you. I accept Jake Paul is absolutely mental for doing this. And I don't think he quite realizes. I think he's got people around him who actually are saying, Anthony Joshua's chinny. He said it in interviews. It's quite wild, but if that's the world he wants to live in, he'll find out on December 19th.
And Frank, to finish with, the plan is still sometime in 2026, AJ against Tyson Fury. And Turki Al-Sheikh's working on that, is he?
That's the fight we want to make. That's the fight we want to see. Look, we're all guilty of doing a lot of talking over the years and that not happening. So I don't want to talk too much, but that is definitely what we want to see in 2020.
Joe Rogan believes the matchup is extremely dangerous and calls it one of the craziest fight ideas in recent memory. He describes how big, strong, and experienced Joshua is, stressing that these factors make him a serious threat to Paul. Rogan rejects the idea that any special contract rules reduce Joshua's danger, saying nothing can take away his power or skill. Rogan warned Jake Paul to study what Joshua did to Francis Ngannou, using that knockout as an example of how dangerous Joshua can be. He says Ngannou's performance should serve as a lesson. Stepping into the ring with Joshua is not just business. Things could go very wrong.
Boy. Well, realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight. So you could see, let's watch that real quick, just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Okay, look, Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice, and Andy Ruiz caught him in the first fight and dropped him and stopped him. It was spectacular. Andy Ruiz is super fucking talented. Usyk is perhaps the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time. Maybe one of the greatest of all time in any weight class. Usyk. And Usyk beat him, and he beat him twice. But Francis Ngannou is coming off of this fight with, go a little bit before that so we can see this happen. Watch this. So he drops him with a right hand early. And this is like 2 minutes into the first round. And Francis gets up. He survives. And then Joshua, check out this combination he hits him with. I mean, dude, the speed that he hits him with this, he's so dangerous, man. It's like you're dealing with a guy who's an Olympic gold medalist, and he's enormous, and he's got vicious knockout power, and he's got immense amount of experience at world-class levels. Just think about what we said earlier. Fought Usyk twice, fought Andy Ruiz.
Cheyenne, Braun, and Kalen recently expressed deep concern about Jake Paul's mental state before his fight with Anthony Joshua. They say Paul's carefree attitude, cockiness, and bold claims may show he doesn't fully understand how dangerous Joshua truly is. According to them, Paul might be severely underestimating the threat, and the huge jump in competition could lead to serious consequences. While some praise Paul's bravery, Che and Kalen believe this fight requires respect, discipline, and an honest understanding of the risks, something Paul may not be acknowledging. Several experts say Jake Paul still has a real chance of knocking out Anthony Joshua, but the danger on the other side is enormous.